Welcome back. Now, in the recent results announced by the IEC, the African National Congress's numbers have dipped below 50%. But opposition parties have failed to pounce on the opportunity and pick on the slack. Political analyst Keith Gottschalk joins us to discuss this further with us. Thank you very much, sir, for your time here on ANC. Now, first of all, a lot of people would say that the ANC has gone under 50%. It's the first time in history. But have they really lost these elections outright?
They've lost in a big number of municipalities. It's not the same as if they had lost a general election and been a minority in parliament, but they clearly face the challenge of negotiating coalitions galore almost everywhere across the map, while the rival DA will, of course, be negotiating rival coalitions in the same towns.
But, you know, when I look at metros such as your Johannesburg and the city of Ekurhuleni, it looks like all the other smaller parties or all the other parties that trail behind would possibly need to actually go into a coalition with the ANC.
That will be the discussions going on right now. It's not yet clear. We can imagine that Good, for example, will be happy to continue a coalition with the ANC. What the new parties like the Patriotic Alliance will do in Action South Africa, we've got to wait to see. The DA, you know, used to have coalitions with the UDM, the ACDP, and those parties have not done well in these elections.
Now, if we look at, in particular, the ANC and other political parties and how they've performed, we also had the low voter turnout. And a lot of people have been, a lot of analysis has been around the fact that people didn't turn up to vote because those are the people who would ordinarily vote for the ANC. Is that the right analogy?
I think so, because, for example, in the ward where I voted, which is a middle-class, overwhelmingly white ward, where the DA makes a staggering 92 to 93% majority in previous elections, there was a queue standing in pouring rain for 45 minutes. Shows the DA has an extraordinary strength of party loyalty amongst its supporters. And the big stairway clearly included many ANC voters who are abstaining as a protest against corruption in the townships.
And of course, this electorate clearly punished the ANC. Would it be correct to assume that this electorate that would have voted the ANC is possibly waiting to see how a coalition led by the ANC will work, or how a coalition will work in general before they actually start voting for the ANC again?
It's ironic that Cyril Ramaphosa, who has done more than anybody else to purge the kleptocrats out of the ANC and to appoint ethical prosecutors who will go after corruption, should have been punished by the voters for this. But I think the voters are watching to wait and see what's going to happen over the next 5 years if we have a dramatic decrease in corruption and if the municipalities begin working again with sewage spills being cleaned up within days, with taps always having water in them, with more electricity and fewer power cuts. I think the next 5 years will count a lot in bringing those voters back to the polls.
Let's move away from the ANC now, Mr. Gottschalk, and speak about the official opposition. They also didn't perform well at all in these elections. I mean, they lost most of their votes, I would assume, to Action SA and the FF+.
Yes, it is surprising that normally one takes it for granted that the only way the ANC is going to lose significantly is if the DA gains significantly. But here it didn't happen, and a host of small rivals from the Vryheid Front Plus on the right was nibbling up all the Afrikaans votes, and you can see that across the map, the Afrikaner white setters, while the Patriotic Front and the Cape Coloured Congress and Good were taking away coloured votes from the DA, and it would seem that Herman Mashaba's brand new Action South Africa vacuumed up black DA supporters in Soweto, where the DA's proportion of voters plummeted from about 8 to about 2%.
All right, political analyst Keith Gottschalk, thank you very much for your time.